Bonjour encore tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, on regarde à comment définir et trouver le verbe. So, how to define what a verb is and then to find the verb in a sentence. So you know what verbs are. On va regarder à ces quatre phrases ici. Ces deux-là et puis ces deux-là. So, commençons ici. J'apprends le français. Ça, c'est la phrase. Lequel de ces mots est le verbe? So, français, is that a verb? No, c'est pas celui-là. The verb is not underlined in that one. J'apprends, to learn. Ah, that's a verb. It's an action word. J'apprends. So that's the verb that's underlined there. Looking at the next one over here. L'oiseau est multicolore. L'oiseau, well, that's bird. Bird is not a verb, so no. It's not that one. L'oiseau est multicolore. Et, être, to be, that is the verb. Yes. That one's underlined correctly. So, je retiens bien. Le verbe sert, on est ici maintenant, le verbe sert à indiquer ce que je fais, une action, ce que je suis, un état. So, the verb tells you what you're doing, the action, or the state that you're in. So, I am talking, I'm talking, I am tired, the state. Je dessine, I draw. So there's, right here, there's the action. Ooh, too thick. Bit thick. Je suis fatigué. Attends, je vais effacer celui-là. Je dessine. Pour trouver le verbe, je peux l'encadrer avec ne et pas. So, if there's a negative sentence, it'll be surrounded by ne and pas. Ne before it and pas after it. You know, what's between must be the verb. So, like in this case, les poissons n'ont pas de nez. Fish don't have noses. It's true, they kind of have noses, but they don't have nostrils. Anyways. Les poissons n'ont pas de nez. Remplacer le sujet par je peux. Les poissons nagent dans l'océan. Je peux nager dans l'océan. I don't know about that one. I would just look for the action word. So, let's go down here. Entraîne-toi. Souligne le verbe dans les phrases suivantes. So, underline the verb in the following sentences. So, j'ai une table de nuit verte avec une lampe noire. Well, table, is that a verb? No, that's a table, that's a thing. Un table de nuit, that's an adjective. Verte is also an adjective. Avec is with, that's a preposition. Une lampe noire, another thing, another adjective. Only thing that's left has to be j'ai. So I have, right? To have is a verb. You can have something. The other sentences, maybe I'll do one more and then I'll leave the other ones for you guys. Quand est-ce que tu vas chez ta tante? Quand est-ce que... Now this could be a verb here, but it's part of an expression, est-ce que. So when are you going to your aunt's? When are you going? Va. Quand est-ce que tu vas aller? Sorry, oui. Quand est-ce que tu vas? That's the verb to go. Aller. So there's another verb. Now the other ones I'm going to leave you guys to do, so try and look at those sentences and find the verb. What's the action word? What is the word that's either the action or the state of being? Bonne chance. So, la verbe à l'infinitif est conjugué. So now we can find the verbs, and we have to learn to recognize whether or not they're in the infinitive form, l'infinitif, or if they're conjugated. So infinitive in English would, if I was to say I am, that's conjugated. If I was to say to be, that would be infinitive. So it's the unconjugated form of the verb. Let's look at some examples here. On va regarder à les exemples. Chut, ici. Le bébé dort, ou chut, le bébé dormir. Which one of those is correct? This one is the correct one because that's conjugated. This dormir is to sleep. This would be like saying the baby to sleep. Doesn't make sense. The baby is sleeping. Ah, that makes more sense. So le bébé dort, conjugated. Let's look at this one over here. Je allais au cinéma. Je vais au cinéma. I to go to the cinema. No. I go. I'm going to the cinema. Ah, je vais. Well, that's conjugated. So you want it to be conjugated. You don't want it to be in the infinitive form. That doesn't work. So, je retiens bien. Ici, le verbe est à l'infinitif quand le verbe n'est pas avec un sujet. Le verbe n'est pas dans une phrase. So, it can't be in the infinitive form if it's in a sentence with a subject. It has to be conjugated. Le verbe infinitif est utilisé pour nommer le verbe. Et c'est la forme qu'on trouve dans le dictionnaire. So, the infinitive form is like the name of the verb itself, and that's what you find in the dictionary. So you'll find parler, partir, prendre. So, to talk, to leave, to take. That's infinitive in the dictionary. That's the name of the verb. Down here now, pour trouver ou former l'infinitif, on peut utiliser il faut. Il faut parler chinois. Le garçon parle chinois. So parler is the infinitive of the verb parle. Alright, now, the verb change de forme. So now we're over here. Now we're talking about conjugated verbs. Le verbe change de forme quand le verbe est avec un sujet. Le verbe est conjugué pour indiquer qui fait l'action. So, the verb changes when you conjugate it according to who's doing the action. So, looking down here, tu aimes Rudolph. Elle aime Rudolph. Nous aimons. So, you like Rudolph. She likes Rudolph. We all like Rudolph. And in French, every time you change who says it, it's conjugated differently. And that's where the difficulty will come. The challenging part in French verbs is how many different conjugations there are, and it's a matter of memorizing them. We're not going to worry about that for now. For now, we're just looking at recognizing when the verb has been conjugated or when it's in the infinitive. So, on va regarder à les exemples ici. So, entraîne-toi, we're going to start here. Relie chaque verbe à l'infinitif à sa forme conjuguée. So, partir. Je pars. Voilà. Marcher. Tu marches. Parler. Il parle. Et vouloir. Nous voulons. So you can see over here, these are all partir, marcher, parler, vouloir. They end in a certain way. Now, they have different endings because in French, the other complicated thing is there are IR verbs, ER verbs, and then other ones. And so if it's an ER verb à l'infinitif, it will always end in ER, marcher, parler. And then over here, you have, listen, parler, il parle. So this is a silent ending. It's been conjugated because il, with an S, is plural. So you can see the difference between infinitif ici et conjugué ici. That's the difference. Ok, maintenant, entraîne-toi. Écris l'infinitif de chaque verbe conjugué. Je bois du chocolat chaud. Now, the problem I have with this part here is that you need to know what the infinitive looks like of these verbs. So I'm going to go through these with you guys because there's a few different ones. Je bois would be the verb boire. Tu fais be the verb faire. Écrivez vos prénoms would be the verb écrire. and nous jouons. Tennis would be the verb jouer. So the reason why I don't love this question without more help is because you can see the endings of all these infinitive verbs are a little bit different. And that's just how French is. You just have to know those kinds of things. And you know them by doing them, and by learning them, and by reading more and writing more, and practicing your verbs. Comme on fait maintenant. Okay? So, ça c'est un peu sur l'infinitif et les verbes conjugués et la différence entre les deux. So we just talked a little bit about the infinitive form of a verb. So this is infinitive over here, and this is conjugated over here. Don't worry if you don't know all these verbs that are here. Right now, worry more about recognizing the difference between a conjugated verb and an infinitive verb. Ok, une dernière chose à faire maintenant avec les verbes, c'est la forme négative, or the negative form. How do you make a verb into the negative? When I mean negative, I mean the opposite of positive. So, let's look at some examples. Observe et compare les paires de phrases. Que remarques-tu? So, the first sentence here, je n'arrive pas en retard. Je suis toujours à l'heure. So you see, right there, you've got this N apostrophe and a pas. Let's look at this one down here. Il ne regarde pas la télévision. Je parle avec ma mère, avec ma famille. So ne et pas, ne et pas, ne et pas. And where's the verb? Le verbe est entre les deux. So le verbe est ici. Le verbe, c'est là. So c'est toujours entre le ne et le pas. So the verb is always between the ne and the pas. To make something negative, you have to add both a ne before the verb and a pas after the verb. If you look over here at these sentences, which are not negative, they don't have a ne or a pas. They just have a subject, a verb, and then the object of the sentence. Je suis toujours à l'heure. If I was to make this negative, let's try negative up here. Je ne suis pas toujours à l'heure. So you've added the ne and the pas. You've made it negative. Okay? So, ici, je retiens bien. Pour écrire une phrase à la forme négative, on ajoute le plus souvent les mots ne et pas. Le verbe se trouve entre les deux mots. Okay? So, down here. Entraîne-toi. Transforme ces phrases à la forme négative. Je vais au parc. Je ne vais pas au parc. You're going to add a ne and a pas. I'll let you guys do the other ones there. And one more thing to do. Transforme ces phrases à la forme négative. Les fantômes existent. So here we go. Same thing. Les fantômes, so nothing changes. N'oublie pas l'accent circonflexe. Ne. So remember, if you've got a vowel, you've got to just put the N apostrophe. Ne existe pas. You just add a ne and a pas. Okay? So, je vous laisse avec la reste. Demande-moi si vous avez des questions pendant notre Teams meeting ou bien envoie-moi un courriel, send me an email. Ok, merci beaucoup. J'espère que ça va bien. À bientôt.